This is Hola Houston, a half-hour public affairs program addressing issues of interest to our Hispanic community.
Buenos días y bienvenidos. Good morning and welcome to Hola Houston. We have a wonderful program lined up for you today. As always, we're going to be touching on some issues that concern you and your family. And here's a little preview. A free safety event to keep your children safe on the roadways is just around the corner. We're going to tell you about it. And each year, thousands of children start the school year without the supplies they really need. How you can help those students this upcoming school year. Plus, step aboard a different type of museum that will fascinate the future engineers in your family. But first, true and candid stories from the front line. The book, What Was Asked of Us, shares the stories of several servicemen and women who have fought in Iraq in the past 4 years. Now, of course, the heartwarming stories are from soldiers who've come home to their families after serving our country. Unfortunately, not all of their stories are warm and fuzzy, but they tell the life of being on the battlefield and what it's like to experience death and war, and then return home to some type of normalcy. Paul Daniel Rodriguez is among those servicemen who shares his account in this book. He's a former Navy medic who spent several months in Iraq. Good morning. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad to have you here.
So am I, so am I.
Thank you for your service, first off.
Well, thank you. It's nice to hear that.
But some of your service, I know, was not the best.
No, not quite. It was pretty interesting, to say the least, you know.
Tell me a little bit about it now.
Well, I was a medic in Iraq. I was in Fallujah. I was a combat replacement. You know, I thought I was going to be doing pharmacy work out there, actually, but in order to go to pharmacy school, you had to do the combat medics stuff, and they said you'll never have to use it. And of course, that's what I did in Iraq. I was out there with the troops treating amputations, decapitations at times, pretty graphic stuff, you know.
Now, you are just one of a number of soldiers whose accounts are in this book.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of the accounts are extremely graphic.
Yeah.
But they tell a story. I wanted to read something. You know, you said you used to watch the History and Discovery channels and used to see World War II vets as well as Vietnam veterans, you know, and they're basically saying when they're in trouble, I'm a vet, help me out. But I had no idea what it meant to actually have been to war. It stiffens you. It hardens you. It almost feels like it's not happening. Everybody's thinking they just want to go home as soon as possible. I'm not going to say I lost my compassion, but you pause in your writing, I've lost my, you pause again. You know, Adam and Eve lost their innocence when they ate the apple. There was no turning back. So like them, I think I lost my innocence after being in war. Did you? Because you came up on some rough streets where really there was no innocence.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in the projects, you know, there's always shootouts. You see people strung out on heroin and stuff. That's a common occurrence. And it's nothing to hear a shootout at night, you know, but when you see wounds, you see people, you know, you're like, wow, this is really a hand. This is this guy's foot. You know, this is this guy, you know, he's talking about going home and riding a motorcycle, but he has no legs, you know, so I know he's not going to ride a motorcycle, you know. Or this guy's saying, you think I'll keep my hand, Doc? And I'm like, yeah, you'll keep it, you know, and then we got to cut the hand off, you know. It's just things that you don't even think about, you know.
It appears to be very, very graphic in nature. How did all of this affect you as an individual? Are you a different person from the person who initially enlisted in the Navy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, I would do it all over again. You know, I support my commander-in-chief. But it was something else, you know, to come back and my wife wake me up and say, you know what, you're screaming or you're saying, you know, he's gonna die or you know, things like that. Or I wake up on the floor if it's been like lightning or thunder all night, you know, or I just kind of wig out, leave the stove on, or just things that I've never done before like that. Sometimes I wish, you know what, I wish I could be the same old Paul. You know, I was very outgoing. I used to DJ, I'd fish, I did a lot of outgoing things, and you know, it's a work in progress that every day I have to try to, see if today's going to be a good day or today's going to be a bad day.
Okay, when you came back home, did you fall into the trap of drugs and alcohol?
You know what? Interesting you say that. I did start drinking. I didn't do drugs. It's not tolerated in the military. But I drank a lot. And I was drinking before I went to Iraq. But you know what? I was drinking heavily. I mean, I'd wake up with a bottle of beer and a raw egg.
And what about when you came home? Did that drinking continue, and how bad did it get?
Yeah. I was drinking morning, night, as soon as I could get home from work, So much so that, unfortunately, on March 27th of 2005, I went to a Easter gathering of my wife's family. I was asked to give someone a ride, and I did, and I lost control of the vehicle over a construction area, got hit by a truck, and my passenger passed away. And that's something I have to live with the rest of my life. I don't know. I did jail time because of this. I just came out of jail April 22nd. And it was something that I don't know if anything would have prevented it.
Now, you've been sober for a while. What advice would you give to vets coming back now, as well as their families, as to how to deal with folks who've actually seen stuff that people in this country can't even fathom?
I would say, keep an eye on him. Ask him daily or weekly, hey, how you doing? How you handling? Because a lot of times we're in an era that it's frowned upon to go seek mental health or to go seek any kind of psychiatric help. You know what? The days of, oh, no, I'm fine and I can deal with it, that's not going to happen. They're going to drink. They're going to want to be suicidal. They're going to want to do things that they've never done in their life. Help them out. Be there for them. Get them the help that they can, because there's a lot of help out there. The government's taking care of me, and they have all these programs implemented, but not a lot of troops know about it, or it's frowned upon to go get help.
So they should contact someone when they come back, just to make sure that life is going to get back to normal.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you so very much again
Thank you, Jose.
for your service.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story with our viewers. It's very important to speak to someone like you.
Thank you, Jose.
And God bless you.
God bless you also.
When we come back, how you can help hundreds of needy students this upcoming school year, plus taking care of the younger tykes too. It's a law that could save your child's life. Stay with us. We'll be right back.